Hello, everyone. So before I bring on Boma, I would like to invite Ifoma, the CEO at Shecluded, to briefly share about Shecluded and her own experience studying abroad with a scholarship. Ifoma, over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure why my video is not coming on, but that's fine. So my name is Ifoma. I'm the CEO of Shecluded, and this initiative is part of our mission to provide opportunities that help women thrive financially. And one of the opportunities that can change your life is having a master's degree, especially having a master's degree abroad. So I will share my own story just to motivate someone. So my mom was a widow and she put me through school, and I finished school and I started working in PwC. And one day I went to work and I heard one of my colleagues saying, "Oh, I got a full scholarship to LSE." And it was scholarship, tuition, accommodation, and everything. And that moment in history, I heard myself say, I should try for a scholarship. What if I can get one? And I started doing a lot of research on scholarships. I just felt like, I can give it a shot. I made it 2-1. And I applied to 2 schools at that time. I applied to more than 2 schools, but I got admission in more than 2 schools. But the 2 schools that gave me a scholarship are Holt Business School and Lancaster. And at the end of the day, I was able to meet the requirement for Lancaster, and I went for master's. And the first thing that caught me when I went for master's was the fact that the library was the biggest. That was my first time going into a library. In my school, I just went there to sign and sign out. So having a UK education is one of the things that changed my point of view about life. It gave me confidence. It sort of like changed my thinking and my perspective, because in the UK, they just come to class, they give you a focus, and you go and do a lot of research. So I felt like it changed my critical thinking. And again, stepping back and looking at the tech sector. So I was having this conversation one day, and I realized that everyone that has gone to do notable things in the tech sector, they either schooled abroad or they have something that they did abroad. So yes, it is a good opportunity to increase your income. And when I came back after my master's, my income increased by like over 150%. So yes, this is a good opportunity for you if you're looking to increase your income by furthering your education. Nkechi, I hope I said it all.
Yes, we would also like you to say a bit about Shecluded, just in a minute.
Okay, so Shecluded and why I founded Shecluded. So just a personal backdrop story. I was pregnant with my 3rd child, and I was working at a company, and I noticed something. I was struggling. I felt like I was juggling so many balls. My first baby was still a baby. My second one was pregnant. And work, I felt like I've always been that woman, but I felt like at work, I was struggling. And then it struck me, because I've always wondered why, as I go higher, I'm the only woman in the room. And it struck me to say that, women are actually finding it hard to juggle their responsibilities and other responsibilities. And at that time in history, I decided to start a finance company. And that's it. I just felt like that was the right to do. Since we started, we funded over, we've lost count of number of women we've funded. And our mission is just simply this, to be able to put more money into the hands of women. And that's it. Thank you very much, Nkechi.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. So next is Boma. She is the Chevening Program and Communications Officer. Boma will be sharing more about the Chevening Scholarship and best ways to answer your questions to increase your chances of getting selected. Again, please use the question and answer button on your screen to drop your questions and they will be answered. I can see a lot of questions already. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Ineba. Thank you, Anita. Thank you everyone that has dropped their questions. We'll attend to them when it's time for question and answer. Please keep it coming. Okay, Boma, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nkechi. And thank you everyone for joining. It's really an honor to be here. And it's really good to be gathered here, amazing women doing really good stuff in their individual fields. Nkechi has told me a lot, about the people that are here. And I'll just be providing some information as to how to apply, the common mistakes that you should avoid when you're applying. And I'll be sharing my screen shortly, so please do let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, I can see your screen now.
Right, perfect. Yeah, so as I said before, I'll be talking about Chevening scholarships, and I'll try to keep to time, as much as possible. But before I start talking about Chevening scholarships, there is a question I have for everyone, and this is just to kind of get some background information as to know how you are thinking even before you start your Chevening scholarship application process. So Nkechi, please, can you help with the first poll question? So it's a poll question and it's anonymous. So please, feel free to give your candid thoughts about the question. You should come on screen shortly.
Okay, I'll be sharing the poll now. Please answer only the first question. Answer just the first question. Thank you.
Yeah, so, I'm just going to read out the question. It says, as a woman, do you think you undersell your achievements? So sometimes I've realized that some women undersell their achievements. So, when you're told to talk about the things you do or the things that you've achieved over the past years, sometimes you're trying to be humble. So if you feel like you sometimes do this, you can say no. And if you're not sure, you can choose maybe. So this will go on for about 45 seconds and we will stop very soon. Okay, some people are still answering. Okay. Okay, so I think that we should be good, right? Okay, so you can stop.
Yes, time is up.
If you can end the poll and share results. Some people still answer the second question.
Yeah, it's fine. They'll answer again.
Yeah, so just the first one, if you can please display the results. Okay, the result is on screen already. Okay, so here it shows that 38% of people said yes. 29% of people said no. Interesting. And 32% people said maybe, which is completely fine. So, I mean, regardless of the category that you belong, out of all of these 3 categories, what I'll just say is that if you said no, good for you, please keep that energy and as you start your Chevening application process. But if you chose yes or maybe, I would say that, it's a good thing that you've identified that, this is a challenge. And I'll call it a challenge because if you're going to be applying for Chevening, honestly, you cannot afford not to tell your achievements. You cannot afford not to tell your story, because I'll just, give an example. When it comes to the Chevening application process, so the first part of the application process is that you're going to answer some essay questions, right? And it's when you're successful during the essay questions that you will now be invited for an interview. And during the interview, might be 3 to 4 panelists on your panel. And, by the time they start asking you questions, even if you don't answer the questions right at the beginning, it's possible that you'll be lucky enough one of them to, prompt you, for one of them to say that, well, it seems like this lady has potential. I want to ask her a follow-up question. So at that point, you can get the opportunity of them asking you a follow-up question. But the problem with this first interview is the fact that nobody is going to ask you a follow-up question after you've submitted your Chevening application, essay answers. So you need to be able to tell yourself, you can't be humble. You need to be proud of yourself. You've put in the good work, you've worked so hard. So you must be able to tell that story. And what I would say before I start, if you don't know how to tell a story, it's completely fine. But what you just need to do is give yourself time, learn how to tell stories, and learn how to give good examples, showing what you've done over the past years. So I'm just going to stop now, and we'll just start the main reason why we're here, which is, about talking about what Chevening scholarships are all about. So for I know that there are different categories of people here. There are some people who know about Chevening. There are some people who heard about Chevening for the first time on the Shecluded pages, which is completely fine. I'm here to serve you. So basically, Chevening Scholarship Program is a scholarship program that is funded by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, partner organizations, and partner universities. So I'm sure some are wondering, so who is a partner organization? What is a partner university? So partner organization are organizations who have seen the good work that Chevening is doing, and they're like, oh, Chevening is investing well in, in talent. Chevening is investing in people who are able to create a change in their individual space. We should also do the same. Partner organizations also sponsor individuals that they see that, are doing well. So they kind of support when it comes to probably paying your tuition or paying for, the whole pack that Chevening offer. Then in terms of the partner universities, so these partner universities have to be in the UK or are in the UK. So some universities decide that, okay, we want to partner with Chevening. We want to give discounts on individuals' tuition. These are what partner universities are. And I'll give you a second tip. So remember the first tip I told you about this morning, the fact that you need to learn how to tell your story well. You need to learn how to not downplay your achievements. That was the first tip I told you this morning. Then the second tip would be that, if possible, try to apply to universities that are partner universities. And I mean, not compulsory. The fact is that you can apply to any UK university. As far as it's a UK university, you can apply to it. But it will be really good if you can find a partner university to apply to. And a way for you to recognize a partner university is through the Chevening website. So go to the Chevening website, which is chevening.org. And on the different tabs, you see the scholarship tab. On the scholarship tab, and from there you see find a course. Under the find a course, you see a search button. In the search button, type the name of your university, or the name of the university you're looking at, applying to. If it is a partner university, you see partner university just beside the name of the university that comes out. So please do that, and I hope I didn't rush. I hope that was really helpful. So that's how to recognize a partner university anyway. And Chevening isn't just for Nigerians. It is available in over 160 countries and territories. And it's a fully funded scholarship. I mean, it covers all of your, everything that you need. And it's supposed to be for a 1-year master's degree, which means that looking to go for a course that is for 2 years, it doesn't apply to it. So it has to be 1 year in any subject and at any UK university. So that is basically what Chevening scholarships are all about. Then who are Chevening scholarships for? Honestly, I feel like to an extent, if you've heard about Chevening before, and if you've seen the types of people that have been chosen for Chevening over the past years, you would kind of understand who Chevening scholarships are for. So basically, Chevening scholarships are for people who have the passion to be able to create a change, people who are doing great and amazing work in their individual fields, and people who have the commitment to make a change in Nigeria. Honestly, every day we complain that Nigeria is tough. There are so many challenges in Nigeria that you can take up a person to say that, what, I've identified this challenge in this field. I want to be a solution to that. So, these are the types of people that we look out for. And another thing I would like to say is that if you know that you have intention to relocate, or you have intention to use Chevening scholarship to relocate, trust me, Chevening isn't for you, because the truth is that we are looking for people who have the ability and who have the commitment to make a change to Nigeria. And the truth is that you might be wondering, oh, so why is it like that? Why is it that I can't just stay in the UK after I'm done with my scholarship program? The truth is that Chevening scholarships is not a charity. It's not a charity initiative. It's not for the underprivileged. It's for people who are very keen, about making a positive change. And also, Chevening looks out to invest in people who can also develop and improve the relationship between UK and Nigeria. So I hope you understand why, we always say that you have to come back to Nigeria immediately after your studies. So yeah, so basically these are the types of people that we, that we are looking at having when it comes to Chevening scholarship. So what does a Chevening scholarship cover? As I said before, it is fully funded and it covers your tuition fees, a living allowance, which is at a set rate for different individuals, and an economy return flight ticket to the UK. And also it covers additional grants, for your essential expenditure. So for instance, if you money for your project, money for so many things that you want to do while you're in the UK, got you covered. But something that is very important to mention here is that if you know that you're going to study an MBA, it's important to know that there is a fee cap of £22,000. So basically, to be applying for MBA, bear in mind that if your tuition fee is more than £22,000, you have to pay the remaining out of pocket. And there was something else I forgot to mention. It's the fact that Chevening has to be face-to-face. So if you're going to be going on a scholarship program sponsored by Chevening, you cannot do distance learning or virtual learning. You have to be there face-to-face. Then what else does Chevening scholarship have to offer? This one is quite interesting. I mean, I'm going to touch on it, but consider the fact that we have amazing teen alumni here on the call already who are going to be sharing their experiences. I think they're best placed to be able to tell you what Chevening scholarship has to offer. But again, I would like to say that Chevening isn't just an academic opportunity. It's not just for you to go to school and say that, oh, I've gotten a master's degree and that's it. Truth is that, yes, it's good to study in the UK. It's good to, have your master's degree. But if you're going to analyze it, and based on research, right, and based on what we've seen over the past years, if you identify someone that finished with a master's from the UK and it was self-sponsored, and you also identify someone else who is a Chevening scholar or who is a Chevening alumni. And you take these two people to an employer, and the employer doesn't actually check their abilities or their experiences or their skills, and you just tell the employer that who would you rather pick between these two people. The truth is that the person will most likely pick a Chevening scholar first. This is actually true, and that is because the Chevening brand has created, it has made a name for itself. It's very prestigious. So I feel like that's the number one offer, Chevening has to offer. And I mean, aside that, while you're in the UK, while you're doing your studies, you have the opportunity to attend networking events. And, the Chevening alumni network globally is over 50,000. So you have the opportunity to meet some of these people. I mean, you can definitely not meet all of them, but just having that number in mind, that you will be able to meet so many people doing great stuff in their individual fields is a lot. Then aside attending events, there are also internship opportunities for Chevening alumni. I mean, you have to apply for this. You have to apply like you're applying for a job. So the internship opportunities are specifically for Chevening scholars from BBC World Service and this European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So these two organizations provide internship opportunities for Chevening scholars. It's usually for 3 months, but in as much as it's for 3 months, I don't want you to start thinking that hopefully if they pick me, hopefully they'll retain me, or hopefully I'm going to stay back. So that thing doesn't happen like that. The reason why they're creating that opportunity for you is for you to be able to learn, within those 3 months, and for you to practicalize what you and practicalize it in Nigeria, all of the things that you've learned within that period of internship. And again, there are also volunteering opportunities that you get to have as a Chevening scholar. And I would like to say that, our Nigerian Chevening scholars have over the years made us proud. They are always representing well when it comes to volunteering, even as they're studying in the UK. And yes, there is Commonwealth Day. And, if you know the UK is very rich in culture and heritage. So there are lots of things, to get to experience, aside the fact that, you're studying at the same time. So we're going to be taking another poll question. I feel like I've been talking for so long. So the poll question should come out now. And the poll question is about the eligibility criteria. I just really want to hear from you to know how much you know about the eligibility criteria, because really you have to be eligible to even be successful or before you even start. So we'll be doing that in a minute. So the second question, which of the below are the criteria for being eligible? So please, if you can also answer these questions. Okay, so we're just going to stop here. I know that some people might still be answering, but the reason why, this poll was put together was for you to be able to understand, if you're eligible or not. And I can see that, most people, it shows like about 57% of people chose the fact that, you must be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country. Yeah, which makes sense. But something I forgot to mention, it's a multiple choice question. So you can pick any, as many answers as possible. But I'm just going to be sharing my screen because it seems like some of you already know, some of the eligibility criteria. Yeah, so for you to be eligible to be, to be chosen for Chevening in the first place, you must be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country, which some of you correctly mentioned. And just to mention that Nigeria is a Chevening eligible country, so which is right. But what I'd like to say is that if you are not a citizen of Nigeria, please make sure you check the Chevening website, to be sure that the country that you're a citizen of is a Chevening eligible country. So another criterion here is that you must already have an undergraduate degree. So if you're still in school and if you intend to apply for, this year's application by next year, February, you've not gotten your undergraduate degree, please, you are not eligible. You have to wait till next year. Then the next eligibility criterion is the fact that you must have at least 2 years working experience. And this working experience can be volunteering experience, it can be paid or unpaid internships, it can be full-time or part-time work experience as well. And again, aside for the fact that 2 years have been stated here, we've also put the number of hours, especially for people who have volunteered and, they cannot, because it's not the number of years, it's not in a row. So you're thinking, so how am I going to calculate it? So the way we calculate it is that when it comes to the Chevening standard, a week should comprise of between 35 to 60 hours. And I'll give an example. In Nigeria, most of the jobs are 9 to 5, which is 8 hours per day. So you have 8 hours per day and 5 working days. So 8 by 5 is 40. That's 40 hours in a week. But here we understand that some people work less than that, but the standard should be between 35 to 60. So let's say that you work 35 hours in a week and a working year comprises between 40 to 50 weeks. So let's just use the two minimum numbers. So let's say you work for 35 hours in a week and in a year you worked for 40 weeks. So that's 35 by 40, which will give you 1,400 hours, right, for 1 year. So 1,400 hours by 2 years should give you 2,800 hours. I hope that was, clear enough. But, that is one of the criteria for being eligible. Then another one here is the fact that you must not have previously received a UK government funding. So an example is the Commonwealth Scholarship. So if you have been a recipient of the Commonwealth Scholarship or any UK government funding, basically, you are not eligible for Chevening. Then another one here, which I think most people didn't, select, is not being younger than 18 years. So there is no upper limit for being eligible for criteria, but there is lower limits, which is not being younger than 18 years. So which means that if you're 50, if you're 60, you're eligible to apply, as much as you're able to demonstrate that you have the skills that the Chevening Scholarship program is looking out for. You're good to go. Then the final one, which I think I spoke about earlier, is to return to your country of citizenship for a minimum of 2 years. So yes, you're expected to return to so if you know that you don't intend to come back to Nigeria, if you know that you already have JAPA plans, Chevening is not for you. So I think that starts with the eligibility criteria. Okay, further eligibility criteria. So yeah, it says that before being awarded a scholarship, selected candidates must hold an unconditional offer from at least one of the 3 course choices by July 2023. So yes, we've been talking about applying for Chevening Scholarship, but there's also your responsibility of applying to 3 UK schools. So it's compulsory that you have 3 UK schools that you must apply to. You can decide to make the courses that you're applying for the same course or different courses, but I would say that even if there are 3 different courses, please ensure that the 3 courses are related. So it's not like maybe you choose University of Reading for your first choice, and in University of Reading, you're choosing your course is media and communications. Then for your second university choice, the course you're choosing is public health. They are not related. So if you make that type of choice, the assessors will be like, it seems like this person's career plan or this person's choice, they are not just related. So please make sure you choose courses that are interrelated and sure you apply to those 3 schools and hold an unconditional offer before July 2023. So basically you have more than 9 months to be able to apply to this school. So please, let's get that cracking and make sure you apply and get the unconditional offer. Then again, it's your responsibility to check with these universities for their specific requirements, because I know that some universities always ask for English language requirements, such as IELTS, TOEFL. So please check with your universities to be sure that you meet all the criteria. Next thing I'm going to be talking about this morning is the Chevening alumni community. As I said, we have 2 alumni on the call. So we have 2 alumni and 1 scholar who will be joining us. But here we're going to be talking about the Chevening alumni community, just for you to have an idea of, what Chevening is and how the alumni is basically. And so Chevening has been running for over 35 years across the world. They've been running since 1983, and specifically in Nigeria. Chevening started operating in 1984, and I said this before, globally we have over 50,000 alumni network, and in Nigeria we have over 1,300 alumni network across different fields of politics, creative arts, media, civil society, amazing people. By the time you hear the alumni speak today, you would know that, we have great people doing great stuff. And, this slide just shows some of the women that are doing great stuff in their individual fields as well. So we have Amina Oyabola, who is the founder of Women in Successful Careers. We have Toki Mabogunje, who is the founder of Toki Mabogunje & Co. Then we have Udo Okonjo, who is the chairperson of Fine and Country, and Kofo Akinkugbe, who is the CEO of Secure ID, which is a fintech company. So I'm sure you might be wondering, why are we providing this information? The reason why this information is being provided to you is for you to understand that there are women doing great stuff in their individual fields. And these women are just like you. Some of them started from, from nothing. And if you check, these women are, they are women that were chosen for Chevening so many years ago. So they are not recent. So if you check, their career path and how they've risen from different aspects of life, you would realize that, it's really good. And honestly, if possible, even after this call, you can decide to do some research about them. And trust me, it would be inspiring, and it might even spur you to be able to write your application better when you start. So that's that about the Chevening alumni. And now we're going to be talking about the applications, which I know so many people really want to hear about. All of the things I've said about Chevening, they're like, you know what, I'm not really interested in that stuff. It's the Chevening application process I really want to hear about. So, all of that was just done to give a background of what Chevening is about. But again, because of time, it's possible that I didn't cover some stuff. So it is your responsibility to go to the Chevening website, go through the FAQs, and, just play around the website. Trust me, there are lots of information that you'll be able to get. So for the Chevening application timelines, before we now start talking about the essay. So as you all know, Chevening applications are now open, and it was open on the 2nd of August, and it's going to be closing on the 1st of November. So that's like a 3-month window. Honestly, check other scholarship, programs. I'm not sure they give up to this time. So, a lot of time to achieve a lot. To write what you have to write. So, so that's when it's open. Then early November 2022 is when applications are sifted against the eligibility criteria. So remember the second poll question that we took where we were discussing about eligibility criteria. So this is in early November is when, they start doing the sift. So if you're not applying from Chevening eligible rather, you'll be bounced. So this is when that is done. Then between November and December is when the Independent Reviewing Committee assess your application. So all the essay questions that you've written, all the beautiful stories that you've given them, this is when the assessors begin to, assess your applications, and all of this is done in the UK. Then between January and February 2023 is when applicants are shortlisted for interview. Then in February 2023, shortlisted applicants, are made aware of their interview dates. And between March and May, the interview period starts. And this is globally. Between March and May, every country begins their interview process. And in June 2023, you'll be notified of the status of your interview, if you're successful or unsuccessful. Then by July 2023, again, selected applicants must have received an offer, and they must also be able to, let us know that they've received an unconditional offer from at least one of those 3 universities that I earlier mentioned. Then between September and October 2023 is when our successful applicants arrive in the UK to start their Chevening journey. Just like the people that applied last year, they've started making plans to go to the UK to start their Chevening journey. So now we're going to, start the essay questions. So I'm just going to be explaining some stuff, but I want you to bear in mind that, at the end of this whole explanation of the essay questions, we're going to be doing an exercise together. So if you've not been paying attention before, this is the time for you to pay attention. Grab a paper and a pen, just as much as you can, especially when we're doing the exercise. You definitely need a paper and a pen. So, there is this word that's, that is presently on the screen, or the sentence rather, that says, past behavior is the best indicator of future performance. I want you to, in your minds, I want you to read that over and over again. And the reason why I want you to read it and I want it to sink. Your past behavior, the best indicator of future performance. So the reason why this has been put together is because when it comes to the Chevening essay questions, it has to do with competency-based questions. So basically, Chevening essay questions are competency-based questions. And what are competency-based questions? Competency-based questions are questions that require candidates to provide real-life examples as the basis of their answers. So basically, over the past minutes, I know I've been talking about telling your story right, getting your story right. As you're telling your story, we want real life example. And the way, and the way you're going to be able to tell your story right is using real life examples, right? And when it comes to competency-based questions, it is your past behavior, that is the past experiences that you're going to be telling in your story, that will be able to indicate if you'd be able to perform well in the future. So by the time the person reading your application is reading your examples, they're like, oh, this person said, they've done this before in the past. This person said they manage so and so number of persons. It means that if they've managed so and so number of persons, if they've been able to achieve this in the past, it means that if we invest in this type of person, it would be worth the investment. We're going to get something back in return. The person will definitely improve and develop the UK-Nigeria relationship. So I hope that was helpful enough. And now we will just go into the essay questions. So for those that do not know, there are basically 4 essay questions that Chevening will ask you, both at your interview and during, as you're submitting your application process. So the questions are under 4 categories. The first is the leadership and influencing. The second is the networking, which is also called relationship building. The third is the study in the UK. And the fourth is the career plan. So these are the categories, right? So we're going to be, talking about each of these categories. And the first one, which is on leadership and influencing, is that, before I go through, these categories, I'd like to say something, that when you're writing your essays, so please don't waste time, don't waste time saying stuff like, I'm super excited, about this opportunity. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are 4 categories of questions here, right? And each of the question should be 500 words maximum, which you have only 2,000 words to say all of the things that you want to say. because obviously there is a word count. So saying, you know, using cliche statements like, I'm super excited, you know, I'm very passionate, I'm enthusiastic. Nobody is saying you shouldn't say you're passionate, but if you're going to say that you're passionate, you must be able to back it up with evidence. They must see that example that, oh, this person has done, you know, made so much impact. It means that this person is passionate. It's just like saying that, oh, I'm a leader, or I'm a good communicator, and there is no example, you know, to back it up. So please be specific. Do not waste your number of words, because for each of these categories, there are only 500. Be honest. Don't be vague when you're giving your examples. If you say you've done something before, you need to be able to explain how you did it, right? And also be unique. You know, we want to hear about you. I want you to tell us something unique about yourself. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, you know, in this day and age, there are lots of online resources. You know, there are lots of things that you can get online that it can even be easy for you to copy and paste, you know, for when you're applying. But don't do that to yourself. I mean, there are over 200 people on this call, right? And it doesn't mean that you people do not have your, you know, your personal commitments. I'm sure most of you decide to probably leave your jobs to listen in. It means that you really want this, or at least I believe that it means that you really want to be chosen for Chevening. So put in time to be able to apply or to be able to write your essays correctly. Don't plagiarize, because the Chevening, you know, the Chevening committee even has like a plagiarism software. So if you had copied and pasted from somewhere and you put on the, you know, put in your essay answers, it makes you automatically ineligible, because, you know, your application will just bounce. So don't do that. Give yourself time. Think about what you've done in the past. If they've asked you a question, think about it well, and, you know, and apply. So, you know, that's that. And so we're going to start with each of the competencies. So the first competency, which is on leadership and influencing. Honestly, they want to hear about your qualities. Do your research. Right? What are leadership qualities? Is it that you showed empathy sometime when, you know, when you were a leader, or is it that you were able to prioritize well, or you were able to use your influencing skills to be able to create a change? Those are the types of things that we want to hear. And also, don't be humble or don't be shy or to take credit for what you've really done. And that was the reason why I decided that it's important to, you know, take that poll question. So if you've been downplaying your achievements before, this isn't the time to do that. And also, if it's possible for you to limit we, I'm not saying you should lie, obviously do not lie. If you've not done it before, don't say it, but limit the use of we. It is not we that is applying for Chevening Scholarship, it is you. So try to use more of I did this, I was able to do this, I was able to use my influence. Then highlight your strengths. They really want to know your strengths. They really want to know your key strengths, and, you know, how you've been able to make a positive change in, you know, using your leadership and your influencing skills. So the next one is on networking. So think about how to build a global professional network and establish links in the UK. And I've said this before, that there are over 50,000, you know, alumni members across the world. You need to be able to demonstrate that, oh, there are 50,000, you know, there are 50,000 alumni network. This is how I intend to be able to leverage on the network. Also, it's not just about what you've done before. Also, in the past, how have you, you know, leveraged on the small network that you have? Even when you come back to Nigeria, how do you intend to leverage on the network, you know, alumni network of Nigeria? Then also, how do you intend to tap into those networks to be able to make a positive change? Do not forget that Chevening is all about making a positive change, you know, doing something significant, and, you know, demonstrating that you can really do all the things that you said you can. Then the next one is on, you know, studying in the UK. So here, I've mentioned that you're supposed to apply to 3 different universities, 3 courses. So you must be able to create a rationale for the reason why you've chosen those 3 universities and those 3 courses. And also, why the UK? There are lots of universities around the world. There are universities in the United States of America. So why is it the United Kingdom you want? So you must also be able to answer this question. Then finally is the career plan. So here we want to hear your midterm goals, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and how you intend to achieve them. So don't just say that when I come back, I'm going to become the managing director of so and so company. Nobody's saying you can't do that. But again, you need to be realistic. And in terms of realistic, being realistic rather, in terms of being specific, we'll be doing that in our exercise as we go on. And also for the career plan, when you're writing your career plan, how will it benefit your home country? Don't forget that, that is the sole purpose. When you're being chosen for Chevening, rather, it's not just for you. It is also, for the common good of Nigeria and the UK. So we're just going to stop there for the questions. Yeah, so there are some tips here that I've put together. So again, in as much as I've been saying that as women, we shouldn't downplay our achievements, it is also important that you shouldn't lie or you shouldn't exaggerate your own story. Do not lie, please. We are women of integrity, right? So please do not lie. Say the truth and say it well, tell your story well. Then ensure that you have read and understood the questions. This is so important, and it's so important, especially for successful people who get to the interview stage. Over the past years, what I've realized is that some people tend to cram answers, and when they come and they realize that the answer is not exactly what the question isn't exactly what they expected, so they just begin to the same thing that they've crammed. So when you're being asked the question, please listen well and answer well. If you do not get the question, please feel free to ask again. But I mean, this is for the interview stage. Feel free to ask again that you do not understand the question, so the question can be related to you in a better way. So again, give clear and concise answers with relevant examples. Then write in English. I'm sure some people are like, why won't we write in English? But the truth is that some people do not write in English. So please write in English. Then use the STAR approach model to write your essays and ensure your answers are smart. So time is fast spent. I would really like to hear from everyone. So if you know what the STAR approach method is, you can just let me know Q&A in the Q&A section, because I think the chat box is disabled. So if you know what STAR approach stands for, if you can just put that in the Q&A section rather. And if you also know what SMART stands for, so if you know what S, which is STAR, STAR, if you know what it is, if you can just put that in the chat. Then for the SMART goals, I don't know if some of you have heard about it before, you can put that in the chat box before we start our exercise. I'm just going through to see if anyone. Okay, thank you so much. It seems like some people know it, so I'll just go through it. So the STAR approach is situation, stands for situation, T stands for task, A stands for action, and R stands for results. Yay, some people also know what being smart is. So if they say that you should ensure that your answer is smart, it means that S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time-bound. So do not worry, we're going to go through it. So for the purpose of people who are not, who do not know what that is. So before we go through that, there are some other tips here that I put together. And the first one is that take your time to answer your questions. In as much as we're saying that do not wait till the last minute, do not submit rushed answers. So you can prepare your questions offline. So what you can do is go to the Chevening website when you create your profile, when you answer some questions. For the essay questions, you can just copy paste them. You can paste them, in a Word document and provide answers to it. And when answers are done, you can now paste them back on the Chevening website. So that would save you, a lot of stress instead of going back and forth. Then give yourself a timeline to apply. Honestly, I feel like if you really want something, you need to make it like a project, right? So for instance, if you want to go on a vacation, definitely you say that, okay, I'm going, for instance, I'm going to the United States for a vacation for 5 days. I'm sure you outlined what you do on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. So same thing, put the same energy in your Chevening application. Okay, so now you have over 2 months to apply. You can give yourself a timeline that, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm going to answer all the 4 questions. After 2 weeks, I must have my first draft. The third week, I'll have my second draft. 4th week or 3rd week, I'm going to give someone to proofread. Handle it like a project, basically, and that would really help you to cut out time. So again, start researching now. Submit your 3 UK university application as soon as you can. And it's important to know that some of these UK universities might be asking you for application fees. Please note that Chevening isn't responsible for, for paying any application fee. So if you choose a school that is asking you to pay an application fee, you would be fully responsible. So the Chevening application closes on the 1st of November. I said this before. So please prepare your application ahead of time. Do not wait for last minute application. Truth is that over the past years, we've realized that there is usually technical difficulties on the last day, and that's because you're not the only one applying. There's so many people applying across the world. So if there are technical difficulties on the last day and you're not able to submit, I mean, unfortunately, it's your luck. So now that you're hearing, plan ahead of time. I think this is the last tip. We're running out of time. Yeah, so again, get someone to proofread, and not just anybody. Please try to get a professional, someone that is experienced to help you proofread. I'm not saying you should let them write for you. Honestly, if you give someone your application to write for you at the interview stage, when they ask you a follow-up question, you will not be able to defend it. So, write your story and get someone that is experienced to proofread for you. Then usually 2 referees are usually asked for. So you can make it 1 academic or 1 professional, or 2 academic or 2 professional, but it's always good to have a mix. So please make sure you have that ready and submitted before the 1st of November. Then the final tip before we go into the exercise is that, when you're choosing your course, I would say that try to research the priority areas in Nigeria. Try to find out what the UK is doing in Nigeria. And the truth is that I'll tell you, there are so many applications, right? And what the UK will usually do is to pick the people that, align with our priorities. And for you to be able to know these priorities, you can follow UK Nigeria on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Besides following them, you can decide to give yourself time, check what the UK Nigeria has done over the past 1 year. And trust me, when you would understand the projects that the UK is doing in Nigeria. And you not just understand it would even give you a better perspective of how to write your application. It would also shed some light on how to, on the types of projects that you intend to work on when you come back. So for instance, there is this project that the UK is presently doing. It's called Girls. It's a project that, helps women to develop their digital capacities. So, by the time you see something like that, you can decide that, when I come back from the UK, I also want to do something similar, or I want to partner with the British Commission to be able to enable more women. So, so please research the priority areas. And yeah, and finally, when you're writing your essay question, essay answers, right? There's something I want you to do. You're going to be paying £36,000, right? Or we're going to be paying about £36,000 for all of your, your return tickets, your stipend while you're in the UK. So when you're applying when you're writing your answers, I want you to ask yourself true questions that, with these essays I've written, will I even want to also invest in myself? Be truthful. Be truthful to yourself. Will the UK want to even invest in me? Why would they even want to choose me to start with? The courses I've chosen, will it be beneficial to the UK? The courses I've chosen, will I be able to make positive impact with it? And even the courses I've chosen, does it align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals? Will it really make any impact? So, these are the types of questions that you should be asking yourself, when you're doing your essays. So we are going to be doing the final part, which is an essay question. But this is not the essay question that you'll be asked during your interview, or that is on the Chevening website presently. But this was just something I came up with. It's a competency question type. And it says, describe a situation in which you led a team. So do not forget, I already mentioned that you should grab a pen and a paper. So you can just write it down. Describe a situation in which you led a team. Do not rush. We're going to do this together. And if you look at my screen, you'll be able to see what the STAR approach is and what the SMART goals are. So a method that I might be able to help with is using the STAR approach, where for each of the questions you are able to use the situation, for instance, as the first paragraph, then the task as the second paragraph, the action as the third paragraph, and the results as the fourth paragraph. So altogether, you have 4 paragraphs, to answer your question. And we're going to do this together, right? So now, with the question that is on screen that says, describe a situation in which you led a team. So let's do it together. So we'll start with the situation. I want everybody to write, just write a situation. Just for the first, we're doing the first paragraph first. So describe a situation where you were in and you led a team. It doesn't have to be anything serious, honestly, because this is just a draft. This is just for you to be able to understand, how to structure your essay answers. And you can just put about 2 to 3 bullet points, just 2 to 3 bullet points to jot down your thoughts. So I'll be giving everybody a couple of minutes to do the situation paragraph before we move to the next paragraph that is on task. And remember that your answers should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound as you're doing that. So a couple of minutes for the first paragraph before we move on. And do not forget that I mentioned that, you shouldn't add cliche statements. Try to write something that will grab the reader's attention, because honestly, most of the time, the first paragraph tells a lot of, really relies on how the reader is going to assess you. So you want to, start the first paragraph with a banger, with something that catches the reader's attention. So 2 to 3 bullet points, 1 more minute, and we'll go to the second paragraph. So for those that do not have access to the question is, describe a situation in which, you led a team. So basically describe the background of the situation and just describe what the situation was, basically. I hope we're all writing.
Boma, would you like someone to read out their answer?
Do we have time for that?
Maybe we take just one person.
Just one. Okay, so you can nominate one person, but let's do that after, we're done with the entire thing. So we'll analyze everything. Thank you for that. Okay, so I think we should all be done with situation. Please remember, do not think too hard. This is not, this isn't the Chevening application itself. This is just to give you an idea of how to structure your answer. So now we're going to be going to the second paragraph, which is the task. So the question is describe a situation in which you led a team. So as you led this team, can you describe the task, that you had to do? So here, highlight maybe there were some challenges that you faced, there were some hurdles or there were some deadlines that you were supposed to meet. So we can just put that as well. 2 to 3 bullet points, 2 to 3 bullet points. So I'm going to be giving everyone a couple of minutes as well to write this down. And don't forget to be specific and be concise as you're putting those bullet points together. So here, put the task and the goal, the exact goal you were working towards to achieve. Okay, so we have 1 more minute and we'll go to the 3rd paragraph. All right, so now we're going to the 3rd paragraph. So for the action, here you're supposed to describe the action that you took. So, this is where you're supposed to highlight your skills, those good communication skills, those maybe like time management skills, how you were able to motivate others, this is where you're supposed to be able to highlight them. So I'm going to be giving us a couple of minutes again to do that 3rd part before we now move on to the next one. All right, so now we're going to be doing the final one, which is the result. So the result should be your paragraph. So in the result, you want to highlight, the outcome of your actions. So yes, you led a team, but after you led the team, what did it result in? What did the event end? What were your accomplishments? What did you learn? What were the positive results, that you were able to achieve after you led a team? I'll be giving everyone a couple of this again. I hope we're all jotting something down. Remember, this is, for your own good, and you have the draft to yourself. So we have 1 more minute before, before we stop the exercise. Okay, have you identified anybody?
Bianuju Okonkwo, I'm letting you talk. Okay. Hi, Bianuju.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I've really learned a lot. I'm really grateful. Thank you very much. So the situation was when I was in NYSC camp. So there were like 2 major events that needed to be won. But we were just able to get one, and that was the carnival. That was the carnival. So I had to organize a lot of things for the carnival. So I served in the North. So I had to about the kind of things they've done, the kind of things they've seen. So as I was discussing with my platoon leader, I gave some ideas about some of the cultures from here in the East. So they said that they've not seen something like that before. So that was so it was the ideas that I came up with that we went to it. So then the actions I took, I had to go get the materials that we needed, the fabrics, I did a lot of decorations, and then I delegated tasks to people that helped me do dress other people up and all that. Then we actually won after the parade, because that was like, as my platoon leader said, the culture that we displayed, they've not seen it before. It was something from the Abreba tribe, one of the things that they do during their Christmas festivities. So that was what we used to win the competition.
Okay, thank you so much, Obeanuju. I mean, that we just did this in how many minutes? Just about 5 minutes, and you're able to think about that. Thank you so much, for sharing your experience. And what I'll just say is that, because this was just done in 5 minutes, right? I'm sure if you had more time, you would have been able to sit down, to have, to show more of your skills. So it's good. I heard you say dedication, I heard you say organizing. So for the other people who might have written something, or even for someone that didn't write any. So all of these skills are things that must be very pronounced when when you're writing your essays. And also do not forget to keep it short. Any information that you feel like isn't so necessary, please try to remove those types of information as much as possible. Do not forget, be clear, when you're putting your essay questions together, be specific. I like the fact that she was also able to refer to the fact that it was during our NYSC. So that would be really good. And if possible, to for the situation, you can even be specific extent that you say that maybe in January 2022. So when the person is reading, it's like a story that the person can easily follow, that, oh, this person has said in January 2022, this was what happened. So please, I know that my time is up, so I'm not able to provide, more information, but please do your research. And it's really been an amazing time listening to you, and also reading some of the comments that you have in your chat. Finally, what I would say is that Chevening is highly competitive. And the reason why I'm saying this is not to discourage you, and I'll give you numbers. And another thing I forgot to mention is that when you're writing your essay, answers, make sure you use numbers. If, for instance, if you say that I trained some people, the person reading your essay might be like, okay, you trained some people, so what? But if you say I trained 100 people, the person is like, oh, wow, you were able to train 100 people. You were able to impact knowledge on 100 people. So, it gives the reader a better understanding of your achievements. So that's just by the way. So in terms of using numbers for you to understand how competitive Chevening is. So over the past year, we had more than 8,000 applications. And out of those 8,000 applications, 175 people were shortlisted for interview. And at the end of the day, only 44 people were chosen for Chevening. And I'm not saying this to discourage you, but I want you to be encouraged so that you know that you have to put in a lot of work into putting together your essay questions, when you're preparing. And another thing to mention is that there are so many people who applied more than once. I'm not saying you fall into that category, but I'm just saying it for the purpose of people who have applied before and who feel discouraged. I know people who have applied like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and they didn't get it until the 4th time. So you need to be able to, give yourself a timeline. All the things that I've mentioned about telling your story, about being concise, about being clear, using the STAR approach, using the SMART goal technique. Please pay attention to all of these things. It was really good to be here, and I wish you all the best in all of your applications. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Boma. It was a very insightful session, and I'm sure that everyone here can attest to that. So next, I'll be calling up some of the past and present Chevening scholars to come on and share their experience with us. So first is Temilade Salami. Temilade, just to save us some time, would you like to introduce yourself briefly, then begin?
Hi everyone, my name is Temi. I'm currently studying at the University of Sussex. I'm studying environment development and policy, and I run an organization called Eco Champions. We're a group of young environmentalists in Nigeria, and we lead environmental change via climate education, ocean conservation awareness, and so many other projects under the organization. And yeah, I'm pleased to be on this call. So. Am I supposed to speak now or allow every other person to talk?
Oh, no, you can go ahead and speak.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Boma, for everything you've said so far. I think they were very, very important. And I just want to implore everyone on this call to just pay attention to every detail. I can split my Chevening experience into 3 parts. I would say pre-Chevening, during Chevening, and then it's not yet post-Chevening, but let's say post-application. One thing I would like to say is that you have to recognize that what you want to do, just put your 100 into it. There's no one leg in, one leg out. And in case you don't know, I applied for Chevening a year before now. I think that was 2020, 2021. And I did not get it after the interview stage, although it was a very bad experience. But I went again, and then I got the Chevening Scholarship, and I'm currently rounding up my studies. That was pre-Chevening, preparing for all of the applications. And how did I hear about Chevening? I heard about Chevening from a lot of people. I'm sure you probably see it on social media, people who are close to you. But it was, a one-on-one talk with somebody, and then seeing it online, what's the rave about Chevening, and then you discover that it's a very prestigious fellowship. That was how I heard about Chevening. And I think the second question really like to ask myself is that, was I really, really qualified for Chevening Scholarship? Yes, I was qualified for Chevening Scholarship. But one thing I also like to say is that you can be qualified and appear not to be qualified. There are 2 different things. You can be making a lot of, waves in your country. You can be doing a lot of things, of which sometimes you see that lots of people don't get Chevening, and you're like, oh, why did they pick this person? Why didn't they pick me? Because it happens every time. But it's one to do work, is wanting to be able to talk about the work that you do. So how do you structure all of the amazing impact you've made in your communities? How do you bring them into writing an essay that somebody who does not know you, does not know what you're doing, can understand and say, this person is fit for the scholarship, right? So just like Boma said, you need the game of numbers, you need the game of time, you need the game of impact, right? So don't just say, I reached out to a lot of people, and you cannot specify how many people were reached on the project. And also, don't say you reached out to 1 million people when you did not actually reach out to 1 million people, because that happens a lot in this space. So it's very important that you are very specific and you make right, you put the right foot forward for your application, because Chevening will do the background checks. So if you could have reached 1 million people, when I'm reading, as a development practitioner, when I'm reading an essay and you tell me that you have reached out to 1 million people, I'll go through your essay and I'll go and check, what your organization does and how you've been able to do that. So be very realistic. Don't lie in your essays. I like to reiterate that, because that happens a lot. And the application process for me was, I won't say tedious per se. I would just say that I was very intentional from the school selection that I made, because everything feeds back into your essay. So for example, in my career plan, I talked about the fact that this school that I'm going to, this course in this school is going to help me and empower me to, continue my work from all the knowledge that I've gained during the course of study. So I'm also showing that I've done my homework. So if you're applying for example, if you're applying for environment development and policy in Sussex, you can talk about the fact that this particular module in Sussex will allow you to do this and do that. That way you're expressing that, yes, like I've done my homework, I've done the background work, and yes, I really, really want to get this scholarship, right? I even went as far as talking about some lecturers that I really look forward to, listening to them in class, because they worked in organizations like the United Nations, UNEP, and they belong to like different boards of organization that I probably wanted to like work with. So it shows that you are aware and you know what you are doing. So from your school selection from your choice of schools to all of the details that you be putting in your application, everything is important. And make sure there's a synergy in your application, right? I studied marine biology, and I'm currently doing a master's in environment development and policy. It's not the same for every other person. You see some people who study medicine and they pivot into doing maybe creative writing, but make sure that you have experience that allows you to talk about creative writing. So you cannot apply to, for example, Sussex for creative writing, and your experience for the past 2 years is showing that you're a medical doctor, like not tallying. So any experience you're going to add to your scholarship application, make sure that it is relevant to the course of study you are going to do. So don't say you want to, choosing the time that you want to switch careers. So if you've been doing business administration, this is the time to switch to marine biology during your application. So make sure you have experience in that field. And I've seen a lot of people reach out to me, talk about, oh, I've not worked for like organizations, I've not done like intensive work and all of that. But we forget too quickly that all of our volunteer experiences, they were, although you were not paid for it, you were learning and you were also, volunteering your time, your skills. So put all of those together and then your hours. And if they also exceed the 2 years experience, that is absolutely fine. How long did it take me to write the essays? I wouldn't say it was too long. I think it was because the previous year I got to the interview stage and I didn't get in. So I just took back my previous essays, and between that 1 year, I had already done a lot of things. So I just added them with figures and evidence. So it's very important that you also take your time, but don't take your time too much, right? So that you don't do all of the work and then you're trying to submit last minute and the website closes up on you. That is very, very important. Also, if you begin to write early, it gives you room for you to tell people to review your application. Because many people you'll be reaching out to be very honest, for somebody like me, I'm currently writing my dissertation. There's no way on earth I want to start reviewing 30 applications, 20 applications, because life is happening. So make sure you also do your homework and give people time. Don't also feel entitled to their time, but do your homework. I'll probably go through essays that somebody has done and I've seen that, oh, this person has gone ahead to like do their homework. And if I'm going to give any response to such essays, it will just be me saying, oh, I think you should remove this. I think you should add this. So don't think that anyone will write your essay for you, because even if anyone does, which some people might be doing, on the day of the, interview, on the day of the interview, you are going to see that it's not the same thing. Like it's a total different world on its own. You'll be facing 4 people or 3 people. They'll be asking you questions and you need to answer, no matter how much you've crammed. At that point, all your cramming wouldn't matter, right? So it's very important that you write your essays yourself. And I believe if you've done your work, it shouldn't be really hard to talk about the things that you've done. The other thing I will also talk about, is my experience. And I'll give a very good example. So if you work in, I always give this example. So if you work in somewhere like KFC, and KFC made sales of, let me say, they sell like 200 buckets of chicken in a day, I can write in my application that, oh, I worked at KFC and we sold 200 buckets of chicken. That's good, but there's also another person who would individually show their strength in making that happen. So you can say, I drove sales, I wrote copies for this, and because of the copy, because of this, we were able to sell 200, buckets of chicken. So like Boma said, don't always use we. And I think reflecting back, I think that was why my interview was not really good, because I kept saying we, because I had this team mindset. But when it comes to it's about you. It's not even about the people you've worked with, right? It's about you, right? So just make sure that you talk about all of the things that you've done so far and how your individual strengths played out in the success of that thing. So yeah, you both work at KFC, but one person talks about what they did that contributed to making 200 buckets of chicken sales. So it's very important that you find yourself in the picture. And I also like to add, there's no humility in this game. I'm I'm humble, but my work, I show proof of this is what I'm doing, because the world has gone really digital and the world is now a global village where people go online. Even now when you're applying for visas, they tell you to drop your IG handles, they tell you to drop your website, because they want to know what you are doing and if you're actually fit for it, right? So it's very important that you don't express any form of humility in your application. So don't say we did this, who are the we? Because the person is not even applying with you. So if you single-handedly handle the project, please go ahead and boast about it. Think about it. There are thousands, especially in Nigeria, we always have high applications. There are thousands of people who are also applying putting their best foot forward. So there's no humility in this game. If you've done something, come forward and say you've done this thing and this was how it happened, right? So it's very important that you put that in mind. And during Chevening, during the wait time and everything, I was just, one thing I also did was apply to the schools early. So don't submit applications and then wait for interview and then start applying for the school. The number of application schools are receiving, oh my God, it is increasing every year, literally. There are a lot of people trying to come to the UK to study. So, and recently, because I also worked with Sussex in my school as an international ambassador, there have been so many times that people reach out, oh, the school has not responded, can you help me text somebody? And I'm like, when did you apply? They say 1 month ago. So you need to apply very early. The earlier you apply, the better, the chances for you. So especially the schools are very, top schools that are very, very competitive. Please do apply on time. And that way, we've seen people who lost their scholarship because they didn't have an offer. So you don't want to, that's the worst thing that might want to happen. You don't want to get the scholarship, and because you don't have an unconditional offer, and then you lose out on the scholarship, it's not good. So please apply to the schools very early, and don't let your selection be contradictory. So you cannot choose medicine in Sussex and choose business administration in Glasgow. It's not, the synergy is not there. So show us that you know what you're doing. And I also like to say, because this is the part that many people don't like to hear, it's okay to wait, and if you think that you're waiting, maybe you don't have 2 years experience now, there's no need to lie, honestly. It will show during your interview. So 1 year wait, before you blink your eyes, next year ready. And that time you are more confident, you have more things to talk about. The first time I applied, I didn't get Chevening. Even me, I was like, okay, I think that I was just, there was just better opportunity for me to work on projects. We work with Coca-Cola Foundation. I did a lot of things with my organization. I wrote 2 books. By the time I was on that panel for the interview, I was, let me just use that word, I was giving them hot, and I was kind of confident that I was going to get the scholarship, because the knowledge that I gained in that space of 1 year, trust me, it was compared to nothing. So be very intentional if you're applying for this, so that you don't go through emotional breakdown. You apply and then you don't get it when you know that you don't have 2 years experience. And I think the other thing I would like to say, second to the last thing I would like to say, if you have an HND, I know someone in our cohorts who is currently studying with a Chevening Scholarship with HND. So this is not, kind of dependent on Chevening. It's dependent on the schools you're applying to. Even for conditional offer, the schools will require IELTS. There are some schools that are very bent on it. You must have first class, some schools, not Chevening, right? So if your school says they want first class, there's nothing Chevening can do about it. You must give them the first class. So there are other schools too that accept HND. Please do your research. I feel like the Chevening website is a very resourceful, platform. And a lot of people tend to ignore it and go to people to go and ask questions that they would have found on YouTube. I even feel like if you need to answer most of your essay questions, there are lots of pointers on the YouTube. Chevening's website, sorry, I keep saying YouTube, on the Chevening website. So please do well to, it's the information, let it be a part of you, be able to say this is what Chevening is about, because a lot of questions I've seen are questions that you have probably gone to the website and you'd have seen them and you wouldn't have to ask at this stage. What you should be really, really asking should be how to polish your essays, and not basic information like, oh, do I need to apply to the schools before I apply to the scholarship? Because all of those things are on the website. So please do visit the website. It's very important. And I think I'm proud to say that every single thing that I mentioned I was going to do in my essay, I've done times 10 of that in the UK, and it's been an amazing experience. And trust me, being a Chevening scholar comes with a level of shoulder pad. For every place that I've applied to join some specific youth groups and organizations, it becomes easier for me saying I'm a Chevening scholar, because they expect some level of excellence from me, and it always reflects in my work. And that's why Chevening want people that they will also be proud of, people that will put their name on the map. So it's very important that you don't lie your application, so that even if you now finally scale through, You won't just be like, yeah, just there because I just came for Chimney and then I'm going back to my country. It's really all about impact. So put your best foot forward. If this is what you want to do, please go for it. And if you think that this is not the right time, please take a break, go and do other things for 1 year and prepare yourself for the scholarship. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Temilade. I first heard about you from Sheon. What's her surname? I can't remember her surname now, but her name is Sheon. So I followed you at once, and I can say that you have done so well for yourself and the industry that you're in. And a few things that I'm taking out of this session with you today is number one, build in public. There's no point being humble and thinking about what people will say about you. Oh, they'll say I'm bragging if I come online and say that I did this and that. See, because as you rightly said, the world we live in has changed. Everybody wants social proof. They're going to go online to search about you and they won't see what you've done while you've been actually doing so much. So please drop all the humility and show your work in public, build in public, and you begin to see results with these applications. Thank you so much, Temi. Okay, so next we'll be having Anu. Okay, so I'm going to put Anu on. I'm going to put Anu on the spotlight. Anu has asked me to introduce her, but please take the mic and introduce yourself. Remember what Boma taught us earlier. She said, blow your trumpet. So please go ahead. Just briefly introduce yourself and then share your experience.
Okay, thank you, Nkechi. This is something I actually really dread doing. And I feel like a lot of us women, we can be like that. Like whenever I'm asked to introduce myself, I'm like, what am I going to say? Not because I don't have what to say, but it feels like it's a lot. And how do I then? Okay, so I'll just simply say that, yeah, I'm a Chevening alumnus. I was a Chevening scholar in 2017, between 2017 and 2018. And like Temi, I also studied at the University of Sussex. I studied journalism and documentary practice, and I am currently working as the head of video productions at the Cable Newspaper Foundation, amongst other things. So I'll just jump right into first of all, I must really commend Shecluded and Chevening Commission for putting this together. And it's such an interesting selection because I'm friends with Temi, and I can also say I was part of Tife's application process as well that year. So it's such an interesting selection of panelists. So I think Temi has said a lot, but let me just quickly add a few things. And I came prepared. I came with pictures for you people because I realized that for us as women, if you don't see that thing that they're saying you can achieve, sometimes it feels like an imagination. So you will not just imagine, you will see today. Okay, so how did I hear about Chevening Scholarship? To be honest with you, I was thinking about doing my master's, but I wasn't thinking about going for a scholarship. So when the first person who was my friend told me about Chevening, she was also applying. I was like, I don't believe in scholarships. They probably know who they want to choose. It's the UK, crowd will be plenty. And I know that a lot of us think like that too. But by the time 6 other people sent me the links, I then thought, okay, this has to be a sign from God. And then I applied. Did I think I was qualified? Well, I knew I was good. But how to then position myself strategically to be selected for Chevening was the hard work I had to do. So what did I do? At that time, I went to search. I did a lot of research. I went to look for past Chevening scholars. What kind of people does Chevening like to select? Who are these people? What are they doing now? What were they doing before they got the Chevening Scholarship? And it was not just for Nigeria, because I realized that because it appeared that older people had applied in previous years before my year, and they weren't so social media savvy. I couldn't really see much on social media. So I searched other countries. I made friends with someone who was from Jamaica, someone who was from South Africa, via Instagram, who had either gone through the scholarship or were scholars at the time. And I sat down let me tell you, this cannot be overemphasized. I sat down with Chevening website. That FAQ on Chevening website, I sat with it. I studied it for days. And by the time I had digested it, I knew I was ready to apply for my scholarship. So how was the application process? So I like to tell people when they come to tell me they're applying for Chevening, don't think Chevening is something that you apply today, you receive the result tomorrow. Chevening is a full-term pregnancy, 9 months. You will be patient. You will put in your best efforts and you will wait. That is the process with Chevening. You can't speed things up faster than they should, and you cannot slow it down. That's why, like Temi said, like Boma said, you need to start early. I think Chevening is one of the few applications in the world where you have 3 months, 90 days to write your application. Whenever people ask me how I did my essays, I'll tell them I cooked my essays, because from the moment I decided I was going to apply, I started writing. I wrote, I rewrote, I counter-wrote. I was just writing. And I realized that with each time I reviewed the essay or gave someone, people who were mentoring me at that time to look at it, I discovered that the essays were getting better. And, that was very, very good for me, because things that I would not have put because I didn't want to seem braggadocious, people will look at it and be like, put it. It was then I realized I had to put numbers, I had to put impact, because people don't just want to hear that, oh, you went to this community, you did this, how many people? And don't be ashamed. If it was 10 people you impacted, right, proudly, I impacted 10 people. If it was 1,000, don't make it 1,001. Do not lie. Be a person of integrity when you are applying for things like this. Then how has this then, impacted my experience? Before I come to that, let me just quickly share a few tips. I like to tell people when they're applying for any, scholarship at all, especially when it's for masters, you need to be circumspective. You also need to be introspective. Circumspective in the sense that make sure you do all the research that is required. Check out the schools. I realize that when people hear Chevening Scholarship, free check, the first universities they are rushing for, Oxford, Cambridge, all the Russell Group universities, they might not be the best for you. I told Tife that year, I remember saying this to Tife, my babe was aiming for all the Cambridge and Oxford. They might not even have the course that you need. What you need to do is to, first of all, look at yourself. Where are you career-wise? Where do you want to be? Like in another 5 years, your master's is the bridge between where you are and where you are headed, where you're headed rather. And so that should then help you make a decision as to the kind of course you need to take. For instance, I wanted to do a media course, and I knew that I wanted to be producing after my master's. I knew that any school that did not have hands-on practical teaching was not it for me. So all the universities I then went to check, it was either the top university in journalism in London, or eventually I ended up in Sussex. And at that time I applied. Sussex was the top fourth media schools in the UK. My third choice was University of Salford. And for University of Salford, their media department was situated within the media city in Manchester that had Sky TV, BBC. It showed in my application that, I was not just, jumping, for the seemingly Russell Group schools, but the school with the best offer for my career. Then I like to say, be assertive. We can't overemphasize this. Yes, as Temi has said, there is no room for humility in this application. Say what you've done, be proud of it, but do not be braggadocious. I've read a number of applications, and sometimes when I see some applications, I know that this person has lied, this person has exaggerated, and this person is being braggadocious. There's a way to pass across you can be home and be like, I don't want to say too much, but I've impacted 1,000 people, that kind of thing. I'm not telling you to downplay your, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Let me not contradict myself. Moving on to the next point. Don't hire people to write your essays. Hey, do not hire people to write your essays. I have seen this. So let me tell you, I think between the time I became a Chevening scholar and now, I have reviewed over 150 essays. Many people have gone on to get their Chevening scholarship. And I know when you're not the one that wrote it. Because by the time I'm coming back to you with corrections, you don't even know what I'm talking about. When you revise it, I can see that they wrote this thing for you. write your essay by yourself. If you require help, you can reach out to people, who can help you. Maybe say what you want to say in a better way. Do you understand? But do not hire people to write your essays, and don't write unnecessary things. I keep using this example. There was this year, I was helping someone review his essay. And in the fourth question about what you plan to do when you come back to Nigeria, it was a guy, and this guy wrote, by the grace of God, when I come back to Nigeria, I plan to marry as a responsible man. We don't need those. I promise you, I saw that in a Chevening essay. We don't need that kind of information. We don't need that kind of information. And to everybody, I want to say, stay true to yourself. This morning, I opened the essays I wrote in 2016 when I was applying for my Chevening Scholarship. And everything I said I was going to be doing, I'm doing it right now. It blew my mind. As Temi said it, I was like, yes, I can so relate, because I didn't lie. And ingenuity is something that is recognizable, even in essays, before you even come for, for the interview. Because I went for the interview stage and I saw there was this lady that was, and she was really, her vibe was upsetting me, because she brought her essays and she was, cramming and all of that. I'm like, didn't you write your essays? If you wrote your essays, there's no need to cram. When I got into the interview, they asked me what was in my essay. I said it again because I wrote it, and I got it. And, thankfully, I'm one of, will I say lucky people that applied once, got it once. I saw people that have applied 7 times, eventually got it. I met a lady who applied 14 times, got it the 14th time. Yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, those are just some of the things. So to the gist of how my Chevening experience was and how it has then impacted, my work now. I want to share my screen. I don't know if that's possible. Will I be able to share my screen quickly? Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, you can. I just made you co-host.
Hey. Picture time. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Excellent. So after all my hard work, and getting the Chevening Scholarship, this was at my orientation in 2017. As you can see, my gele was big because my village people did not win. This was when we resumed at the University of Sussex. That's me holding the Chevening baton. Now, another thing I want to say is that the Chevening experience is an all-round experience. So yes, you are going to school, but you're going to get life-changing opportunities. The Chevening networking events, I didn't miss it. Every first of the month, immediately the email comes. I will quickly scan through and apply for every and anything, because I just wanted to make the best of my opportunity. Then you will also have the opportunity to have fun outside of Chevening. You get to travel if that's something you like to do. You get to experience different cultures if that's what you like to do, but within reasonable bounds. Okay, so this was, I resumed. You can see student life had gotten me here, as you can see. This was me at the School of Media, Film and Music at the University of Sussex. And like I said, I wanted to really learn hands-on production. So I got to do that. And I'm now a documentary filmmaker because of that. Then during my studies at the University of Sussex, I started a radio show with another Chevening scholar and some other, international students, a radio show that was aimed at other international students. And it served as my volunteering experience during my Chevening year. And then I got a Chevening Bronze Award for doing that. So this is me, and you might recognize some people here. These are my these were my guys during my Chevening. That's my one on the left, that's Lanre on the right. And this was us at the Scottish Parliament. It was a Chevening event that we were selected to go for. So we traveled to Scotland. We met some members of Parliament. This is me at the Welsh Parliament as well. I also went to Wales. It was a Chevening networking event. And yeah, so after we went to greet all the members of Parliament in Scotland in the morning, in the night, we went to the Christmas market and we had fun with other Chevening scholars. And I'll never do this again in my life. I climbed Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. I was feeling cool, but I was scared, and I was praying, if I come down, I won't climb any mountain again. Then Chevening also had this women's engage and change events with Wilton Park, which was like a diplomatic thing, and we were asked to apply. They selected 3 of us, and I got to meet a lot of high-level UN women officials there, which then said it really helped me, because I believe that when you go for experience, look for the fun, look for what to also add to your CV. So this was an experience that added to my CV. Yes, then I got a very interesting opportunity to give the keynote speech at the Chevening at 35 event at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. As you can see, I did not come to play. Then this was another Chevening event where we were asked to apply to debate about artificial intelligence at the Cambridge Union. So I'm also a Cambridge Union alumnus debater. And then outside of Chevening, it was a very busy year. I can see Tifa rolling her eyes. Outside of Chevening, I also attended the Commonwealth Women's Forum, which gave me the opportunity to meet the then women of Women Affairs. I also had time, to have fun with other Nigerian Chevening scholars. As you can see, we went to eat pounded yam here somewhere in London. Then I slept off on the train because I was bellyful. I also made very interesting links with my classmates, because the thing about UK is people are coming from all over the world. So you get to meet a diverse group of people. I'm still in touch with a number of them. I like to say when I was leaving Chevening, I felt like my network had exploded, because there is almost no country now that you mentioned that I don't know someone who's there. And, over time, if you are truly someone who knows how to network, you know how to maintain relationships with people, over time. Then I was a part of the Nigerian Sussex Society. This was the day Nigeria played against Russia also. We won the match, as you can see the picture. By the time I was finishing Chevening, I had no regrets. No regrets whatsoever. I had the time of my life. I had done well in school. I finished with a distinction. I had so much fun. I had met so much more people, and I just knew that the future was just mine for the taking. So I came back to Nigeria, as you can see. This is now like 4 years post Chevening. I'm still in Nigeria and thriving, and I have become the head of video productions, like I said, at the Cable Newspaper Foundation. I've also gone on to win some awards. I'm a Bertha 22 fellow. I won the US Alumnus Women Achievers, plenty awards. See, Chevening can be the game changer. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Put your best foot forward. I don't like to waste time on things that will waste my time. Do you understand? If you're going to do anything, as they say, anything worth doing at all is worth doing well. Give it your best. Even if you don't get it now, like Temi said, you can try again. By the time you try again, you have more things to add. And when you try again, perhaps that could just be the time, for you to finally clinch it. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and all the best with your applications. I just like to say that I wish I could really help people, review their essays, but as they said, life is happening. Life is happening a lot. I am really, really busy. But what I could do is to refer you to Scholar's Diary, the YouTube page that myself and one of my colleagues, Mayowa, created during our Chevening year, and it can answer a lot of the questions there. And I think Tifa also has content on her YouTube about that. I think Temi has also done that. See, the people you are meeting here today, we have plenty of resources out, so go for it. Thank you.
Only Anu will come to a webinar with pictures, with presentation. Anu.
Oh my God. I'm sure we all enjoyed looking at Anu's pictures. I really like your Ankara scarves. I'm going to steal that style. Let me go and find all my pieces from my tailors and start tying my Ankara scarves. They're really nice, really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so one thing I'm taking out of lots of things I took out, but the major thing is this: do your research. I think sometimes as women, we underplay our capacity. You just want to call someone to help you. You just want to call someone and, be entitled to their time and things like that. But the truth is that, like Anu said, the information is out there. Go to Chevening, go to their YouTube page. please, Tife, Anu, Temi, please in the comments, type your YouTube page, type your Instagram page so that everyone can just go follow. You don't even need to message them, send them a DM or anything. Before you do that, make sure you've watched all their YouTube videos. Make sure you've read everything that they've written. I know that Tife has a Medium page, right? You have a Medium account where you write. So make sure you've connected with them well enough. And then if your questions are not answered, then now go ahead and farm them and get them to answer your questions. But don't just start bombarding them right now, So having said that, please research. Go to the Chevening website, read up, do as Anu did, look out for other Chevening scholars, past and present, that are in your field and see what they are doing and how you can, replicate that or support their work. You might be listening to them and saying to yourself, oh, I've not done much. Thankfully, there's no upper age limits for Chevening. So you can make Chevening a 2-year project and start now. Where can you lend your skills? Where can you volunteer? How can you make your business or your work more impactful to your community? So you don't even have to apply this year. You don't have to apply next year. You can make it a 2023 plan, right? And so that's it. Then our next guest is Tife. Oh my God, we had such a pleasant time with Tife yesterday, and I'm excited and looking forward to hearing more about her experience me during and after Chevening. So over to you, Tife. Please introduce yourself first.
I feel like if I begin to speak, it's just like, how do you top the last two speakers? Because I'm not a cool kid. I'm not a producer. I don't have community. But my name is Tife Shecluded. I'm a partnerships and product professional for a SaaS company. If you don't know what SaaS is, it means software as a service. So that's a core tech company. My journey has been very interesting because I did start off with like media and communications and development, having skills in digital media and social media, marketing, comms, videography, photography, visual design, graphic design. And then I gradually pivoted into like more partnerships and client-facing roles. That is just for like a 9-to-5. For more like a lifestyle, I create content across Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube sometimes. I've slowed down on YouTube because the work of editing is for people like Anu, not me. But I do create content around tech, skincare, being a Black woman in these spaces where we are not really, I guess, advocated for, accommodated, etc. My Chevening journey is actually quite interesting because I'm one of those people that got it on the second try. I didn't get it the first time. And I remember having conversations with my brother-in-law. He's one of my mentors. And he was like, this scholarship is something you should apply for. Context, I had done like maybe 6 or 7 applications to other universities. I found out about Chevening because it was time for me to go and do my master's. I had worked for over 2 years and I thought it was time. I had a rough idea of what I wanted to use my life to do. So it was time, and all I was getting was rejections. Literally, like I would wake up happy on a Monday morning and open my email and it says, sorry to tell you that we don't need you in either company or in our school. And it was very, very demoralizing. I would say maybe that was the beginning of like the onset of like imposter syndrome, where it's like, I feel like I know what I'm doing, but like everybody I respect in terms of the type of school I want to go, the type of companies I want to work for are telling me that I'm not there yet, or I'm not it at all. But the thing with me is not the number one theme for my life, I would say, is resilience. If I want something, I would literally just keep going, like till I figure it out, or till I decide I don't want it anymore, or till I get it, right? So I do think that that is one thing in this entire life process that you must have. But more importantly, through this journey of Chevening, my own experience is very interesting, but we're getting there. So the first time I applied, it was like 3 days to the application end dates. I just literally wrote like maybe 100 words, for my essays. I was like, yeah, whatever, because I'd already seen that it was highly competitive. So that already kind of like sidetracks me, like, oh, these people are already telling me no. Who am I to actually get Chevening? Like, Chevening's acceptance rate is below 3%. So like you are already feeling like, I know the type of people that are applying. You're not gonna look at alumni. These are people that have worked in CNN, these are people that have worked in the military, these are people that have done like, these are like pre-prime ministers, people who have worked in the government, people who already, so in your head, you're like, I've not done half or quarter as much as these people, right? So really, what is the big thing I've done that qualifies me? And so obviously the first time it was very quick for them to say no, because my essays were nothing near what I should have put into the Chevening application. But what that did for me was that it really gave me time to, I guess, deep dive into what I really wanted to do. It gave me time to acquire more skills. It gave me time to acquire more experience in my fields, which then put me on the pedestal or at the forefront of really like having a chance to actually get Chevening. And so the first time I didn't get it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to work towards this thing next year, which is very, very interesting. But when you highlighted that you can make Chevening a 1 year, 2 year project, is what I did on the second try. So the second try that year was literally a Chevening year. I was looking at alumni. I was to the point where I was even stalking them on Instagram, seeing what they were doing every day, seeing the stories they. How I met Anu, I stopped to the point where I entered a DM to be like, yeah, I've watched this. This is what I'm trying to do. This is where I'm trying to go. I need guidance on X, Y, Z, but I've done this thus far. And I think for her, I mean, she can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was really what made her give me a second look. Because again, I know this may be ahead of time because I still have to do pre-Chevening, post-Chevening, pre-Chevening, in the middle of Chevening and post-Chevening. But I think for alumni, it's very important that they see that you've done work. So trust me, I guess at the very least in this season of Chevening, 8 to 10 DMs across channels. So 8 to 10 on Instagram, another 8 to 10 on Twitter, another maybe 15 on YouTube, saying, oh, come on, look at my essay. My brother and my sister, we are also having life. And we have things that we are also doing. Do you understand? But if you come to me with, oh, I watched this interview and I was able to look at Anu's page and I looked at Temi's reel, and then you come to me with specific questions, I know that you've done your research. I know that the questions you're asking me are tailored to a particular thing. I'll move to answer. I send people long voice notes. I give them like excerpts from my essay for them to look at my structure and what I did. If I see that I've done the work in doing that research and coming through the website. You see, all of us on this call cannot overemphasize combing through Chevening's content. I think as a platform, Chevening has really been able to put out an overwhelming amount of content to help you. They are updating content. There's so many newsletters. Every year, there's new videos of new alumni that are putting out stuff. Chevening themselves are putting out stuff. They're updating the FAQs. So if you really want to have a strong application, it should be like when you're watching YouTube and when you're watching your favorite blogger's blog, combing through that site, looking at things that apply to you, looking at things that really interest you, looking at what Chevening is doing in your home country and how that ties into what you're trying to do when you come back. Again, let me backtrack a little bit. And so I did the application and I prepped. When I say there's no, I'll call, I know I like midnight to be like, I saw this thing and I think that we should add it. I should be like, wait, let's do a mock. We'll do the mock. She said, no, it's fade. I said, like, I prepped with people. I was blessed and lucky to have a person like Anu who had gone through the process, but I also prepped with other people who were doing amazing in their field, but were not even Chevening scholars, people who had done like international interviews. For example, my brother-in-law works with OFID, so that's OPEC Fund for International Development. So he had like international interviewing experience, international essay writing experience. So I was doing all I can, looking within my network. You'll be surprised at how many people you already know that have gone through a similar experience, like towards a Chevening, or it may not have been a scholarship, but like a job, a role, skill sets that they already have that would help you in, putting together your application towards the scholarship, right? So for me, my journey was interesting also because after that entire process, after the rigorous process of tweaking my essays, me sending links to, and I'm sure Anu was sick and tired. She's like, girl, you are okay, just apply. I was nervous. My nerves were like over the top, but eventually after tweaking here and there, knowing what to write, understanding the type of structure, see, that's that approach is the best thing since sliced bread. If you read my blog, that's exactly what I said, because aside the fact that it's helpful for Chevening, even in the international interviews I've done since then, answering your questions in that structured manner really gives insight to what you've done. You're highlighting the situation, you're highlighting the task, you're speaking on the actions that you took, and you're talking about results. There's nobody you'd talk to about any question you're answering utilizing that approach that wouldn't understand exactly what you're saying. So I do think that, a lot of research and effort goes into the application. Also, I just want to reiterate, I know we've all said this before, but if you're looking at Chevening as a JAPA option, just delete it from your mind, drop off this call, go to bed, don't even think about it, because the entire point, and I was saying this on the live yesterday, is that they have to understand when they're seeing your application that there's ROI. ROI means return on investment. So if they're investing 40,000, 45,000, because now it's not only tuition, it's fully funded. So you have allowance, travel, your tickets are covered. So if they're investing 40K, I want to now go and see that in their country. No, that's not the point. The point is to impute in you so you can come and impute back into your community, right? So that should not even be on the table. Look for Canada, Netherlands, Australia is not Chevening. I mean, there are other routes into the UK that you can use to as a JAPA plan. There's technician, there's other things, but this, if you want to be in that prestigious group of people, then you have to understand you have to come back to your home country. And so when you've done all the research, you've put in effort, you've combed through, you've put together your application, I would say the next thing is to really then look inwardly as you're doing the entire process to see where you fit. So oftentimes I've come across a lot of essays where I can tell this person is simply writing what they think Chevening wants to see. And it has nothing to do with their own personal experiences, what they've been able to do, what they've achieved, what they're even looking to do, because there's also your career plan, right? Which is, yes, you've done all these things, you've been a leader, you've been able to network, you are looking at this school in the UK for XYZ reasons, but how is all of this going to translate to you, for you when you come back? So aside the fact that, you have to do research, it also has to be applicable to you as a person, to where you want to go. At least, I mean, not everybody has a clear, concise idea, like Anu and Temi, of where they are going, but they have a holistic idea of what they want to see in 5 to 10 years. That is where Chevening wants to meet you at. Chevening is not trying to figure out your career plan for you. They're not trying to say, okay, just come and do a master's because you're thinking of, no. You've done, that's why they highlight the 2 years work experience, because that highlights what you're already doing. And then Chevening is then a booster to where you're trying to go. Now, after you've done all of this, you put in your application, it's now time for the interview. See, this thing makes me laugh a lot, because a lot of really qualified people get into the interview stage, but your nerves, what you like Timmy highlighted, her thinking that, her saying we, because she went in there with a team mindset, which in itself, in isolation, is a fantastic thing to do. If you're building a community of people, you must think we. But you see, Chevening, you must think I. Chevening is not sponsoring you and your teammates. Chevening is not sponsoring you and your mentor. Chevening is sponsoring you. So they have to understand why you are of value to them. Okay, 5 more minutes. Now, when I think interviewing should be another topic session on its own. I have a YouTube video up on the tips that you can use. I think Anu and Timmy have also spoken about this on their pages as well. So many resources. But I think another thing I would really like to touch on is post-Chevening. So, in Chevening, I went to LSE, which is London School of Economics. Super difficult to get into. It felt like I did Chevening twice, because there was another 3%, 4% acceptance rate for LSE. And I was in the room with people who had done so many grandiose things, who had multiple awards. And I struggled a bit with feeling like I fit. I knew part of my French, my shit, but when I'm interfacing with people who are at your level and above, you begin to am I really in the right room? Am I supposed to be here? But then I had an amazing supervisor. So that's something else. Don't go to the master's feeling like you're only there for books. Network. Build out your community, talk to different types of people. Don't focus on only Black people. I had a lot of Black friends. I had a circle of Black friends, but I also had people of color, brown people, white people, different types of people who could really contribute to my holistic experience there. So I really immersed myself in London culture. I went to the pubs, I had fish and chips. Like you're not only there to like ace your studies, you're also there to expand your network and interact with other Chevening alumni and other people in your school as well. So I think for me, those major things are really important. For me coming back, I was just looking at my essays again when they were speaking actually words, and it's crazy that as I was coming into Nigeria, I was literally landing into a tech job, which is what I wrote as my post-Chevening, what I wanted to do post-Chevening. I'm ahead of the curve in terms of building out my creative media hub, I guess. Very engaging community on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm ahead of my 5-year mark, right? Because I was a scholar in 2018. But I am, the entire experience has definitely shaped me, has definitely helped me understand that even though people are different in terms of how we function as humans, we're really all the same. We're looking to achieve more, we're looking to collaborate, we're looking to build our partnerships. And so, yeah, I do think that is essential to really know where you are before you apply for Chevening and know what Chevening can do for you and what you can also do for the Chevening community. So I feel like I had to rush all of that because like I don't have that much time. But yeah, interesting caveats, by the way. My own application was interesting because when I applied, I got like a false email. So there was an issue with the system at the time. So it sent out that all of us were like accepted into Chevening. So you can imagine my shock. Oh yeah. When it wasn't like, oh no, it was a system glitch. I almost fainted. I died. I'm sure I died because like, I was like, no, it's actually over. But thankfully, I actually got in because some people actually then got oh no, you're not accepted into. It was a bit traumatizing. But anyway, my experience was very interesting. I would never trade it for anything. I finished from LSE with a distinction. As a big baby as I am, but like, yeah, I always say women need to realize that you're more than whatever society has told you that you are. You can always do more. You can always push for more. Even if you have a baby, I said this yesterday, if you have kids, if you have a husband, you can go with them. It's also okay. But yeah, I think now it's open for questions and answers. I don't want to take too much more of our time, but yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much, Tife. Such an enlightening session. And I just want to thank you, ladies, especially for making our time to be here. I know that your schedules are packed and you...
Yeah, I'm also 5 hours behind. So the 7 a.m. here.
Can you imagine? And this really speaks to that heart that got you into Chevening. You know, you have the heart and the what's the word now? You want to give back to people, you want to help impact your communities. And I mean, that's also why you chose to spend your time here this morning. I mean, wake up early and be here, leave everything that you have to do and be here for the past almost 2 hours. Thank you so much, ladies. So we have some questions in the question section. Please, everyone, Tife, Ano, Goma, Temi, please look through the question and answer section and begin answering some of the questions. We have about 84 questions, so 85 now, so that I don't think we'll be able to answer everything on the call, but we can take
Can I say something based
on
some
Temi, please go ahead.
Yeah, because I've been answering some majority of the questions in the chat. So there are like few things I wanted to clear. First of all, if you have first class 2122, let me just say it publicly on this call. I graduated from University of Lagos with a 2.2. So if that is enough evidence that you can get Chevening, you know, that is enough evidence. So that's just about that question. Secondly, I've seen a lot of people talk about, I'm not a founder. In my cohort, I think there are just about 10 of us that are founders. The rest, they are probably just working with corporate organizations, they are volunteers. Chevening is not looking for founders and executive directors. And I'm sure that, Tife can also attest to that fact. Many people work for organizations. And I also believe that this is a mindset that needs to change about people. You don't necessarily have to own to be able to impact. That's very important. So if you've been a part of an organization, I believe that your presence in that organization has made the organization grow, and you can use that to also apply. So feel free. You don't need to now go and start an NGO so that you can apply for Chevening. Please, they will discover, and it will, you might not go through the application. The other thing I would also like to say, because this is a mistake a lot of people make, please choose experience over ranking. If I probably had gone to do a master's in environment in another school apart from Sussex, I do not think, like, if I begin to list all the things that have happened to me in Sussex, even like cash prizes that I've won, sweet money, free money, I'm not going to leave this call, but I just want to tell you, like, I checked all the schools that I would have checked. I did all my research, and I knew that there was no place, any other place on earth that I wanted to do that master's, maybe another school in another country, except for Sussex. And I'm not saying this so that you can come to Sussex. If you are doing something like economics, maybe LSE is the best for you, and probably not even Sussex. If you are doing development economics, maybe Sussex is the best for you and not even LSE. So please check your course. And some courses don't offer placement. So if you are looking for like hands-on experience, you now go to Cambridge or Oxford that does not give you hands-on experience, and then you leave the school, but you have nothing to show for. So please choose experience over ranking. This is very important. If you are looking to do something like manufacturing, I know that Robert Gordon is very good, Warwick is very good. You might come to Sussex and not get the same experience, right? So please don't just say, oh, because this school is ranked and all of that, and this is what I'm going to do. I think the other thing, I would also like to say, one thing, my previous application before the one that got in, I remember on the call during the interview, even in my essay, I'm sure anybody who read this, they'll be like, this guy is very ambitious, of which I am. I wrote that I wanted to become the Minister of Environment. And let me tell you, it might happen in the next 5 years or 6 years. But at that point in my essay, there was no connection on how I was going to become the Minister of Environment. And on the interview, the person asked me, okay, how do you plan to do this thing? And then that was where, in fact, I think that was the genesis of my problem, because I'm a Christian, I'm a faith person, and I see things, but then this is essay. Yeah, like, help us understand how you live Chevening, and then in 3 years, you're going to become minister as how. So please be very, very realistic in your application, be ambitious, and put your best foot forward. And just like Anu said, just in case, because I might not meet any other person on this call again until you get your Chevening, and I really hope that you do. Please and please, when you come to school, this is not the place to come and, I know we have like different mindsets from our countries, but the world is a global network. Like in my class, we have about 18 people, and they are all from different countries. So many things, projects that I've done with people, places I've been introduced to, even by my school, like so many things. And these are opportunities that, your schools will also offer you. So please do, beyond Chevening, I'm saying, please do your research on the schools you are going to. And lastly, I also like to say, please, if you're choosing your course, please check the modules. I know somebody that till date, they chose a course in my school, and I won't say it didn't meet expectation, but I felt like the person applied to something that didn't fit for them because they did not check the module. So if you are looking to do something like development economics, don't assume that because there's economics in LSE to cover development. Check the modules. If they do not apply to you, please just look for many other schools. And there are so many other schools that do not fall into ranking, but they will give you a lifetime of experience that you cannot exchange anywhere else. So yeah, I'm not discouraging you from applying to Ivy League universities, but I tell you, an environment development and policy course in Sussex trumps any environmental course in Cambridge or in Oxford. So please do your research and just get everything right. And I really wish you all the best. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Also, just in addition to that, is that aside, there's not a focus on Ivy League universities, but what course are you doing and where does it rank in the university that you are actually going to apply to? So that is something that, because people might not know your university for anything else but that course. So if that's the course, then just go to the university, whether it's in top 200 and it's not a top university, but if it's, for example, LSE is known for economics, like, and research, everybody knows, but then LSE also has its own brand. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you're doing journalism, there's where to go. If you're doing media and comms, there's where to go if you're doing development, there's where to go if you're doing core tech, there's where to go if you're doing business administration. So like just figure that out for yourself and then compare and contrast that with what you want out of the Chevening experience. So yeah.
Okay, so there's just one question I would like to take before we close because we are pressed for time. Hi, can I apply for a master's scholarship that is not connected to my undergraduate degree?
Should I take that or?
Yes, please.
Yes, you can. Your storytelling abilities are very important here. You have to, so for example, a person like me, I did international relations, and for my BSc, but for my master's, I went for media communications and development. And I was able to look at my experience in my BSc and see how that fed into being a communication specialist and a media and comms person. So if it's not too far off, yes, but then more importantly, if your work experience is tailored to what you want to do for your master's, then it's a win-win, right? So if you did international relations, for a person like me, I did international relations as my BSc, but my work experience 2+ years was in comms and media. So that fed beautifully into my essay writing. So yes, you can. That's not, you're not hampered by that, but it's really about your work, your experience, be volunteer, be workplace, whatever, and how that feeds into your essays. A lot of people started from medicine, went into creative design, and it's because they had either worked in a company that did creative design, they were volunteering for a company that we were doing creative design for. So they had the experience that was a foundation for that essay that they put out. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's webinar. So let me just tell you a little bit more about Shecluded and why you need to join the network, because let me just mute her.
Nigeria. Back, let me now. Okay, never.
Banker, please
I'll just type.
I know for me. Okay, so the Shecluded Business Network is okay. Shecluded is as a company is a tech-enabled financial wellness company that provides credit, that loans, business advisory, and business services for entrepreneurs. So we have a business network where we are a community of incredible women journeying towards financial wellness, impact, and growth. So if this sounds like a network or a community of women you would like to relate with or network with, you're welcome to join. If you check the chat, you'll see the link to our Telegram group. So we hold events like this every couple of weeks, and you're welcome to join. And thinking about it, I'm thinking about inviting you all to our office at 16A Nike Art Gallery in Lekki Phase 1. So if you want to apply for your Chevening Scholarship and you maybe have internet issues, or you just need to see other applicants and rub minds with them, you're welcome to our office next week. We are open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So come in, let's have some party while we apply and rub minds together. Okay, thank you so very much, Tife. Thank you, Arno. Thank you, Temi. And thank you, Boma. It's been an insightful session and we really appreciate your time. I hope we get to meet you all when you're back in Nigeria, or if there's anyone that is back in Nigeria, please come around next week. Come around next week for some wine.
Hi, Nkechi. I'm also in DC from next week. So any of them that is in America, I mean, we can host them. We're supposed to be
wow.
we're supposed to be there for 4 months.
Well,
so...
me, I'm in Toronto. Come to Toronto. We'll host you.
Okay. I'll put that on my list for next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just putting that out. But thank you so much. I mean, I learned a lot. I just felt like the session was more detailed, like the passion. And when I heard every speaker speak, I remember something. So every time I talk to young people, and even as I'm growing myself as a leader, I'm realizing that success is not accidental. When you talk to people that are successful and doing amazing things, they have their work ethics, the way they present themselves, the way they reason, just shows you that in a matter of like, this is why this person is here. I always tell people that this is not real, this is life. And guess what? You only have one opportunity to do it and do it well. So whenever you have a chance to take a step that you feel will contribute to your future, always do it right. And we'll be in the office next week. I will be in the office. And anybody, like Ikechi said, wine, anything, please stop by. And yes, I'm so excited. And thank you so much for speaking and for everyone that stayed. I hope you learned something. And if you ever feel that you would not be picked, I want you to know that there's this proverb that I heard one time. They say, water no they carry person way you know see leg inside. The only way that I was able to do the things that I did and I achieved was not because I felt qualified. It was just because I stepped forward. And that's the team for doing amazing things. Just step forward. So thank you very much, Nkechi. Over to you.
All right, that's all for today. Let me let our superstars go. Have a pleasant evening and see you all next week. Yes, we can take all of you. All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.